Hi, I'm Cheryl Coates,
I'm Nicole Kodak.
and we're the co-chairs of the Simsbury DEI Council. The DEI Council represents the community at large, serves as diversity champions, helps Simsbury become more welcoming and inclusive, where all voices are welcome for current and future community members.
Welcome to the Let's Talk program. If it's your first time watching, this series covers conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion in our community.
So today, for our very first episode, we are so pleased that you've decided to join us. As an introduction, we're going to talk a little bit about how the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council was formed, who we are, what we do, and what our role is here in the community. So to start at the beginning, we began in May of 2019 with a facilitated community forum. That was 100 people, all Simsbury residents from all walks of life. We all came together to discuss current issues. And after that, we formed what was commonly known as the Spirit Council. That is an acronym that the Department of Justice used for this program. And later on, we decided to change the name to the Simsbury Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council to better represent what it is we do here in Simsbury. The other half of our project, so to speak, is the Equity Council, which is run by the Board of Education. That will be covered in our second episode, so we will be getting back to that in our next episode. We are made up of 18 residents of Simsbury. We are appointed by the Board of Selectmen. On your screen, you will see a picture of our committee as it is currently stands, and we are so pleased to work with each and every one of these people. They put in a lot of time and effort to move this work forward, and we are very grateful for all of it.
You're now seeing a picture of a road, which sort of outlines the highlights of how we've progressed since we were launched in September of 2019.
Are we allowed to say the long and winding road, or should I?
Thank you, COVID. Yes. In September of 2020, the Board of Selectmen made a proclamation declaring racism a public health crisis. And they also appointed us to be an official town committee to work to make Simsbury more inclusive, diverse, and welcoming. We have had a lot of activities, including 18 community conversations by Zoom during COVID called Let's Talk. And we have really sort of had a better understanding of how we can contribute to the community and support the Board of Selectmen in the resolution areas. In February 22, we did change our name to the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Council. We got feedback from a number of people that it wasn't clear what our work was about, and we just didn't want to take time up explaining who we are and what we do. So we thought the name would be more direct. We have 2 events coming up that we just would like to have you keep your eyes open for if you'd like to join. All of our events have been free and open to the public. In May of 2023, we're going to have a community-wide forum on the topic of Simsbury's vision for inclusive and affordable housing. And in June of 2023, we will host our 3rd Juneteenth event, which will be at the Simsbury Meadows Performing Arts Center. And it will be with 3 other towns to be a Farmington Valley Juneteenth celebration. So we welcome you to keep your eyes open for that.
So many of those programs are available on the SCM website and YouTube page if you'd like to go back and review some of the work we've done, or if you are interested in getting involved just to see how it works. But for this series, initially, we are going to focus on housing. Housing is one of the 4 subcommittees that we have as part of the DEI Council. Those 4 committees are data, events, outreach, and housing. So for this series, as it starts, we will be talking about housing. The reason we are doing that is because we were pleased to receive a grant from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving to perform a year-long study of housing issues here in Simsbury and to increase public awareness around housing deficits in Simsbury and affordability and inclusivity within our current housing stock. So the first thing we did was form a work group. We just call it the Housing Work Group. It is made up both of DEI council members and some community volunteers who are not members of the DEI council, but have given very generously of their time to help us out. The first thing we did was form a plan, and the first part of that plan was to hold stakeholder meetings. We have held probably a dozen stakeholder meetings, including town boards and commissions, other types of civic groups, individuals, people from different professions, and in different living situations. We have gathered a lot of information through the stakeholder meetings. Some of those people have actually, again, very generously volunteered to help us out in our mission to bring more awareness around housing issues. And now we are in the process of digesting some of the information we received from our housing survey. This survey was available on our Facebook page and website, and we asked they were pretty basic questions about housing in Simsbury. What we were pleased to find was that the residents of Simsbury responded with very detailed and thoughtful answers to our questions that went well beyond what we anticipated the answers would be. Would you like to touch on some of those? I think it was very interesting.
Well, we have over 600 responses to the survey, so that was encouraging.
So in the data we collected from the housing survey, we found a lot of really interesting information about how the residents of Simsbury view our current housing stock, their vision of what could be added in the future, and how that housing stock might be utilized. A lot of it was very thoughtful, and we very much appreciate all of those responses. We found that, somewhat surprisingly, a lot of the responses were based on socioeconomic factors, some of which we anticipated because we are currently looking at affordability, as that is a very current topic both in Simsbury and throughout the state.
We'll be presenting full summary of the housing survey at our community forum in May on the topic of housing. But the next thing we did was we have held 2 community education events to engage and inform the community about housing basics and the types of housing we have and what the different terms apply to. And that is available on Simsbury Community Media as well. And we will be covering that in future episodes. The second event we had was Pathways to Affordable Housing, and we had 3 of the state's experts in different areas of lending and development. And that is also a recorded event available on Simsbury Community Media. We will also be featuring that in upcoming events as well. This series is part of our community engagement as well. And so we're looking forward to connecting with you, plugging into what we're doing, what we're learning, and how you can get involved.
And to that end, we welcome your participation at any of our meetings. Our housing work group meets on the 3rd Monday of the month, and our housing subcommittee meets on the 1st Tuesday of the month. These are public meetings, and anybody is welcome to participate in those meetings. And we certainly welcome your comments. We do not censor these comments in any way. We welcome both sides of any issue, and we would love to hear from you.
So the next thing you're going to be hearing from us in addition to our upcoming episodes is about the forum in May. And this is where we're really going to have another gathering of a large number of community members, including officials, boards and commissions, residents, people who work here that might not live here, of all ages are welcome, to just get together and review the information that we've gathered and review the climate of housing in the Simsbury, Hartford County, and Connecticut area. And the outcome for this community forum is to make progress toward a shared vision for inclusive housing in Simsbury. We are expecting to engage an expert facilitator to help us work through these issues.
And as we said at the top, this whole study is funded by a grant from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. At the end of this process, which should be at the end of June of this year, we will produce a report, and we will present that report to the public and to the Board of Selectmen. As I mentioned earlier, we are appointed by the Board of Selectmen to advise them in matters regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion here in town.
We hope that you will engage with the housing work because it is important to all of us. We hope that you will come and engage in this work because it's important work for both current and future community members.
And the housing work does not stand alone in the DEI Council. We are supported by the other subcommittees, which I mentioned earlier, particularly the data subcommittee, which has a separate town-funded project going on for data collection. And I know it seems like we're always asking you questions about how you feel about things, but I think it's really the only way that we can get a good sense of how residents feel outside of the context of perhaps a more formal public meeting. And we welcome those comments and we welcome that engagement. That's why we're here.
Thank you very much for tuning into this episode.
Thank you for watching today.
We would love to hear from you. If you have any experiences you'd like to share or any questions you'd like us to address, suggestions for topics of interest, or you'd like to volunteer, let us know.
You can reach us at the email shown on the screen or follow us on Facebook and Instagram or visit our website. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you around town.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.